So hello guys, welcome back to Windroid once again. So today we are doing a very exciting project, and then we are using the Appscripts for a particular project that sends emails to a lot of people based on a content, and that is a dynamic content. So this will be the agenda of today's session, and I'll be introducing Appscript. So for those who doesn't know Appscript is basically a tool, coding tool or a scripting tool by Google, and it uses JavaScript, and that script will enable us to use for various kind of utilities when it's connected to the various platforms in Google, like Gmail, Sheets, and calendar, and a lot of other utilities that you can use it for. Today I will just create a project wherein you have a database of 50 people, and this 50 people has to be sent an email, and email has to be an individual email with a different content. It has to have a dynamic content. So here on the sheet, I have prepared a sheet for this, so I have can use mail IDs as per my requirement, and here is the subject, and subject will be a dynamic subject, and this will be the body. This will also be a content that will be dynamic, and this dynamic content is based upon the input that is mentioned on DEF, the columns DEF, so wherein the names, due amount, and last date changes as per the individual. So let me see how I will build the subject and body before even we take it to the Appscript. So this is static because email ID is something that we need to capture. So different people have different recipients. I got different email ID. Just be specific on that. Here I just put two of my email IDs, so because just on a testing purpose. So here we will build the subject, and this subject is a dynamic subject line. So here is the static part of this, and I used ampersand to combine and make this particular sentence, and that will be the subject line. So reminder, you can just change it whatever you want, like, and then I used an ampersand sign to add this particular column called D, because this has to be like a reminder for that specific person only. And then again it comes to the static part where I mentioned the last due date. This you can change as per your fancies, and you can use ampersand again, and you can just connect to the last date, and that will be the dynamics test. Just be sure that whatever static is there, you have to just mention it within double quotes, otherwise this formula will not work. So let's see how it comes up like. So the reminder, we need last due date 1st of December. So I can just go ahead and change this also. So I can just change it to some other person called Suresh. So you can see that it changes to Suresh. So the amount also I can change, so it's all dynamic. So just change this to 50,000, and the last due date, if I just want to mention, it's like 5th of December, so changes to 5th of December. So it all happens just because okay, so it just because we have created dynamics test based on a dynamic content. So the formula is here. You're using the builder formula using ampersand sign. You just drag it below. So whatever lines of code that you have, you can just drag it. I'm just deleting this here because this doesn't need right now, and you can just drag it. So here I'm dragging this formula here, so it just comes here. Now we'll come to the body part. So if you know, like, this particular text doesn't have an HTML content, this doesn't connect to an HTML content as of now, because that will, I'll just show you on a different video how to use HTML content. Here we are just using the normal text content. So if you want a body like this, we need to build it with a particular formula called ampersand, and that is to join the various lines of the body. And you can also use this particular function called carton. That basically what it does is that it actually moves the line to the next one. So you can't just put the content just next by next, right? So you need to just get to the next line. So it may be a line break, so it can be mentioned as a line break. So what happens is when you just put character 10, it actually jumps to the next line. So that is what it's all about. I just show you a small example. So here I am just building a formula. So I'll just use is equal to, and hi there. Okay, so this is all I need in the first line. Okay, then I just connect with the ampersand sign, and then I just use char 10. Okay, and then again I use an ampersand sign, and then I'm just putting this I'm fine. Okay, and just closing it that, and just see it is come in 2 lines. Okay, so it just come in 2 lines. Otherwise what will happen is that I'm just removing the ampersand sign, so I'm just removing the character 10 sign, so it will be just in 1 line. Okay, so I'm using this character 10 again. Okay, and just using it, connecting with an ampersand sign, so just see it comes in 2 lines. So this is how you actually build the body. Otherwise it will look so bad. So what I've done is that I have build the first sentence. I use the custom dynamic text also. So hi, and it will come. I just used a double quote to mention this, and ampersand sign and sign, and then I connected dynamic ones, and that is D2. So D2 is nothing but the name. Okay, so hi Suresh, and again I use character 10, so that I just use a line break, so it just jumps to the next line. Then how are you, that is a static test, and then I use it on the next line, so I use character 10, and then I take it to the next static line, that is called the note. Please note your current due date is rupees. So this is again connecting to a dynamic one, and that is E2, and E2 will be this one, right? So it connects to due amount is rupees 50,000, and then again it goes to the next line, the last payment due date, and that will be again static. Then F2 will be the due date, so this is F2, this is the due date. Okay, so and then we come to next line, and that is regards, and then again we jump to the next line and we mention the name. So it can be built, you can build any kind of custom text bodies using the ampersand sign, using the dynamic text, and you can use char10, so that you can just use it as a line break to actually move to the next line. So just drag it and pull it down, so you can create the body for all the mailers, right? So that is done. So we have used email IDs in the first column, we have used the subject in the next column, and body in the next column. So we have using these 3 columns to actually create the first app script using Java. Okay, so we don't mention these 3 here because these are now connected with the Google Appscripts. So we are using a mailer app so that we can send it, and it only requires 3 fields, that is email ID, subject, and the body. Okay, so let's go to the project. So this is the project. I'll just zoom it a little bit so you can understand this. So this is the Appscript project. So how we'll go there is that you can just go to extensions and Appscripts. Okay, then Appscripts, and it just moves there. So this is how you can create a file that can be an HTML or a script. So this is a script, and HTML basically sent HTML mail contents or HTML contents basically. So use the HTML. We're not using HTML now, we are using the script, and we are using the JavaScript language JS for this particular coding. A blank script will look like something like this, and you have to name that, and I'll just name 1 2 3, and this is the how you create a blank JavaScript page, and here you have to write the lines of code. So here the 1 2 3 4 5 just goes below, so you have to create lines of code here, and this contain certain dialog box like run. So this is how you just run this particular function, and debug is basically when you confront an error that is created because of a wrong coding. So you just use debug. Execution log will give you the log information of all the executions that you have done, and this is the different types of functions that you have created. Just click on that and drop down, and we can use and run as and when required. And on coming on to here, we can see the overview of the script, and what all project details are here, just about all these things. So here are the files that we have created. We'll come to others different utilities which I have created. So we'll come to only this particular code or snippets which actually sends mail to multiple rows. Okay, so we can use the project history, we can use triggers, executions, project settings, all there. So we just don't want to elongate the length of the video. We'll just come back to how we use this. So as you see, we have created a blank sheet like this, and this is the code. Okay, rather than me just putting all the codes here, I'll just explain you line by line because I don't want to extend the video to too much lengthy. So basically we need to understand that, I mean, we are using a function here. We are using three things here. We are declaring a function first of all. So we are declaring a function, and then we are creating a variable. Okay, and then we are creating an event, or you can just see here we are using an application here. So here you're using a mail app, and that is an application. So 3 points that we need to understand when creating a JavaScript code. We'll have to create a function of any name that you want, and that will come here. Okay, in this particular script, you see they get the two different functions. The first function is on open, and the second function is send mail multiple rows. So here are the functions. So first you declare the function, then you declare the variables that is associated with this, and then you go to the application, you create the application. Okay, and here the application is mail app. Okay, and let me just come back to you again on the greatness of this code, and just let me more understand. You can see that here you have a custom menu. Okay, here is custom menu can be added on JavaScript, and this particular JavaScript runs not by just going to the script and running it, because it will be more cumbersome. So based on this sheet itself, you can just see that I have created a custom menu, and from there I'll click on the application to send email. So it makes things very, very easy for you. So how to create that? And it's very simple, and we'll start with that. First we actually add a menu called the custom menu. So how we create is that we just create a function like on open, because on open is basically a default function within JavaScript, because we will run this code whenever the sheet opens, because when we need to open this particular tab has to be there, right? So that is the in usage of this particular menu. So here you can create the custom menu. So it doesn't need any rate of running this, because manually, because automatically runs when it's open. So that is basically what I am trying to explain. So on open, this runs, and first we are creating a variable, and the variable name is UI. So you are creating a variable, and we are getting the spreadsheet app.ui here. So we just using the spreadsheet app for just opening this particular UI. So declaring UI is the we are using the variable, we are creating the variable here, and from here we are creating a menu. So here you declared that is a spreadsheet app dot get UI. We are getting the UI, user interface. So we are declared that. Now the second line, we are using this declared variable, and in this variable we are telling that we are creating a custom menu. Okay, and we are creating a custom menu. We are creating a menu onto that particular tab, and the name of the menu will be custom menu. So you can just change that and it will change. So you can just create any kind of names here. So that here I am mentioning custom menu. So just till this point I think it's clear. We are declaring a variable, and that we are getting the UI here. So we are getting the user interface here from the spreadsheet app, and then in this, from this UI, now since we have declared this UI, from that we are creating a menu, and the name of the menu is custom menu, right? And we have to add items here. On the next line of code, we will add item here. Add item is that what are the things that you need on the drop down. So here I have just need to send email. Okay, so what I send, I'll just send the email. Okay, we can just change that, so that the change that you will just change this particular wordings. Okay, that's all. So we are just using the send mail, and you have to just single quotes to put all these things here, and then we will just separate by comma, and we will call the application or the next function that you want to run. Say for example, in this sheet you got multiple functions, so which function that you want to run. So I am running this particular function called send mail multiple rows. So I am just mentioning this particular exactly what is mentioned on the function. I just click there, and then I'll just close it by adding it to UI. So to this UI I am adding all these things. So I am creating a variable called UI. From there I am creating a menu, and from that menu I am naming this menu. I am adding a item called send email, and I am calling a function called send mail multiple rows, and then adding it to the UI. So I hope this is very clear and this is very simple, and then you can add this particular custom menu into this particular sheet. Now we'll come to the most important one, how to send emails. So again, just like we have created a function on open, and now we'll create a function called send mail multiple rows. So we just create a function that just create a function, whatever name that you want you can put it here, and just be precise so that you are trying to understand what this is all about when you actually see the text here. So here I am again going to the 3 steps. We are creating a function, then we are declaring a variable here. So we are declaring a variable called sheet. So the Appscript should understand what sheet this particular code has to run. So we are declaring a sheet. So we use the spreadsheet tab again. So we use the spreadsheet tab again, we call up the spreadsheet again, and then we get the active spreadsheet. So you get you just put a dot here, and then options will open. So just select the get, just type in just get active. So it is getting the get active sheet, which is the active sheet that you're using. We are getting that, and then we are getting the sheet by name. So here in this particular mail, you can just see the sheet name is send multiple rows, right? Send mail multiple rows. So you just get that, then you will have to mention the exact name of the sheet. Okay, so by calling this, now we don't use the entire formula just like this or the entire syntax like this. We can just mention it as sheet because you declared this as a particular variable called sheet. And when you wherever you represent sheet, because you can see all these areas when we represent sheet, it actually connects to this particular sheet called send mail multiple rows. Okay, then now we will have to create a username. We will see how we can use that in further, and we will declare the variable called user email, and that will connect to a particular app called session dot. So it all comes like you just like session. Okay, just click on here and prompts will come, and just click dot and then get active user, and just close it by 2 brackets and dot get mail. So then let's just get mail. So all these can be very simple because you don't need to mug up all these entire codes. This prompts will be available on Appscript. So you just create a user mail option. You just see to understand which active user is using this. So we are just getting the get email attribute of this particular. So we are just understanding that this user email is of the email of the user that is using this particular app. So we use that. So we use count because we need to see the count of emails being sent. So for declaring this, we are using a variable called count, and var count and is equal to spreadsheet app dot get active sheet. As mentioned here also, we are getting the active sheet here, we are getting the sheet by name here, and we are getting a range called g1 and getting the values using get values function. So what is g1? Just go here. G1 is nothing but we are getting the count of emails being sent, and we use a formula called count a, and a very simple formula. We just use count a, b2 is to b. So we whatever mails that is being sent, number of mails is sent, that you will get here, and this will be available on the trigger button or the run button that we use. I'll just come to that further. So this is the variable that we have declared in terms of count. We just close it, the parenthesis, and use a semicolon. So we just close the function. So wherever we close a line, we use a semicolon. So be very specific on that. Except for the apps that we create, for that we close it by the brackets only. But wherever you would end a statement, a line statement, then we use the semicolons. So just be beware on that, because wherever or anywhere the syntax is not correct, this will never work. It will always throw an error and make you go bonkers. So just be aware of that. So now since we have declared the sheet, then we have declared the user email and we have declared the cloud, and we'll get the data. So now it's about data, and get data from the columns A, B, C. As I mentioned, we will just get the data from the initial 3 columns A, B, C, and we will just see how it works. So we will get the data range first. We use a formula called data range, and data range will ask for a start row, a start column, the number of rows, and number of columns. So just go with is equal to sign, and we are just declaring a variable called data range. So sheet dot get range, and 2 will be the start row. Okay, so the start row means that we are not using the headers here, so we use that 2 is the start row. So data starts from 2, so that is why we mentioned 2 here. So we will just mention the start row as 2, and start column is 1. So this is the first column, so we will have to mention 1. If we start from this column, then we will mention 2. Right now we will mention 1. And what will the number of rows will be sheet dot get last row. So this particular function that we use to get the last row of the sheet, because we don't know, like right now we got only 2 rows, so we are extending to 50 rows, 100 rows, we don't know how many rows are there. So that is a variable specifically which is not dynamic, which is not static. So we will use the get last row function, so that will give me the number of rows in which data is there. So I just included -1 here because my total rows will not connect to the header, so I have to remove the header. So if we got 50 rows, in that one is the header row, so I have to remove that. My answer should be 49, so that I'll get the formula that I'll get the last row, and from there I'll reduce 1. Okay, and the number of columns is obviously 3 because we will have only 1, 2, 3 columns to be used. So that is the data range, and this is the range, and from there we use the variable called data, so that we get the values from that. So the values will be stored for this particular code running, so that will be stored on get values. So we use get values from this particular data. So we have declared the data range, and we have declared the data, and exact data will come from data values, right? So while running this, I'll just run the code as of now and just show you something, so that I don't need to explain in detail about the concept. So just click here and just see the script is running, and it will ask for a confirmation. Do you want to send email counts to, right? Okay, so this is dialog box should come, because it's not like that you run that and it automatically moves to the script, because maybe you have done it through an error, so you don't want to send the mail just like that. You need a confirmation dialog. So I'll just not run the script as of now. I'll just click no, and just see failure sending email count to, and the mail sending cancelled by user. So that toast message will also come. Just see how we can do that. So we are using a display of a confirmation code. So you will create a variable called response, and response will be spreadsheet app.get UI. We are again calling up the UI, and then we are create the opening alert message, and what will be there on the alert will be confirmation, and you can just edit the text as and when required. It's getting a confirmation. So this is the app here. So you're just using the get UI.alert, and do you want to send email? That is another message that will be there on the confirmation, and here I am adding it. So just need the count. So we just created a variable called count, right? And that will be the value in G1. So do you want to send emails to this count? And the count is mentioned here. We just add that. Just add a plus sign and add. Just see that. Just click on plus. Okay, and it will automatically prompt us what is required. So you'll use the object called count here. So that is how you use that. So this is the dynamic. So this is the static test. This is also the static test, and this will become in dynamic when we actually add the count here. And the spreadsheet.get UI have a button set just called a yes or no. Okay, and yes or no with 2 conditions that can come from the particular here. So again, I will just show you. Just click on and send emails. So it will ask for confirmation, then that will be the head with the main statement, and that's the heading, and the subheading will be do you want to send email count to, and no only yes. So just script will run based on your options of submission, whether it's a yes or no. Okay, so I'll just click on yes or no. So as you mentioned, this is the heading and this is the subheading and this is the count that makes it dynamic, and we have to select spreadsheet app dot get UI dot button set dot yes underscore no. So this will come, and you are selecting based the next running of application will be based on whether you're selecting yes or no. So now this is the code for checking the response. So we use if formula there, if else formula here. So if the response, so we had already declared the variable here called response, and that is what whether it's a yes or no. So you just mention double equal to here, and if the spreadsheet dot get UI, and that will be yes, and if the button is showing yes, okay, you can mention no also here. So if it is yes, what is the function that we are running? Okay, so now we will see how we will process the information, how to run the script when it's yes. Okay, so we are using a for loop here. For loop is nothing but we are creating the calculations when till the last row that is available. For that we use a for loop. We start with the for and open the brackets and create a variable. We declare a variable which start from which row that we need to start this particular processing from. So we use 0 as the row. So as you mentioned, this is the row. So 0 is the row. 1 will actually be the first 0 row, and it starts from this, and we declare that this particular length of data length will be less than the number of rows. So what are the number of rows here? Here we got 2 rows, and this particular for loop will only run till the last row. It will not exceed the last row. So whatever you mention on the last row, that will be where till what the particular loop function or the iterations, the calculations will run only till the data length. So I is less than data length, that means that it can't exceed data length, and we use an incremental factor here. So here as of now it is 1, it is 0. So in the next row it will add 1 1 1 each. Okay, so I plus plus means it will just loop the iteration or the calculations till the last row, and it will increment the value of I by 1. Okay, so just add 1 1 each. Okay, so that is very static. This is a particular statement that we use for all for loops. Now again we are creating a variable for the email address, subject and body. So we are creating var variable and we are using email address, and data I, so I is basically the row, and 0 will be the email address. So just see that I will be the row and 0 will be the column. So this is the first column, so I mentioned this as the email ID. So I, as I mentioned, is the row and 0 will be the email address. So since it's the first column, so we'll mention 0 here. Then what is the subject? Subject will be again I is the row, and that will be dynamic, and 1 that is constant. So this subject will come here in the column 1, right? So this is how we mention here, and body will be in 2. Okay, so the column here will be 2. So 0 1 2, it's not like 1 2 3 till 0 1 2. Here also column 0, so rows 0 1 2, column 0 1 2. That is how it processes information on this Appscript. So we have declared the email. So now what happens is that this particular code will know where the email ID is, and it will also run this particular code as a loop function. So it goes, this calculates or this runs this application still it is till the last row. Okay, and the data comes from the email ID that is represented here using data, and so data anyway comes from the variable called data. We already declared here because that is got the values here. Okay, so we have till this, I hope it is very clear. So now we'll come to the last part wherein we send the mail. So you use the app called mailapp.sendEmail, and I'll just show you something like this. So it will look like a mail app dot just click here, Okay, mail app. So the dialog will come, and now we'll send emails. So okay, and then we open this thing. So just see what all are there. Just there are a lot of aspects here. It looks for these all aspects. So this is the syntax, like to the recipients, subject, the HTML body if it's required, and or the main body that is required. We can just change to body. So this is how the format is. So you need to open the brackets, then you open the curly brackets in between, and you have to mention the to, subject and the body. Okay, so all right, so I'll just start with the sending email app. So mail app dot send mail. So here you will mention the email address. Email address is already declared here, so that is here. So it gets the data from the first column, and the subject will be the data from the second column, and body will be data from the third column. We just close the brackets using curly brackets, and so we opened it on a open bracket, so we'll close that. And as mentioned, every single line of code we actually close it by a semicolon, and we have closed it, right? So that's it. And now we will go to the display of toast message. So when it's run, we will display a toast message telling that this particular mail has been sent to so much of recipients. So we use a spreadsheet app.get toast message. So it comes from the active spreadsheet, so it should be shown on the active spreadsheet. Just put dot and then toast, and toast will be email sent successfully. This is the subject, the heading that comes on the toast message. And so I'll just show you rather than okay. Just click on this, so custom menu and send email. So do you want to send email? So no, I mentioned. So here it will come like failure send. So this is the toast message, and here is the heading, and this is the subheading. So the heading will be toast messages sent successfully, and it mentioned successfully sent by which user. So this will be the static part, and user email will come here. Where are the user email? User email will get the session active user and its active email. So we'll get the email here, and the next subheading will be success sending mail count, and that will be static, and we'll add the count here. What is the count here? Count will be the number of count of email that is being sent. So that's it. And you can get the toast message here based on successful sending, and if else. So if you are mentioned if here, and if else here, and else here, we are actually giving the message that the toast message that the mail has been sent. So we use the same active spreadsheet. You open the operation and just open this toast message, and this is the heading of the message. Like we have cancelled it, else we are using the cancel thing. Here we are send this mail successfully, that the toast message was all about. Here we are creating a toast message so that the mail has not been sent, and it's cancelled by the user, and we mention the user email here so that we get the mail ID of the person who is cancelling it. And the subheadings will be failure sending email count, and then we will mention the count of mails which is not sent. And this phi is that the duration for which you need to show the toast message. So you can increase it or decrease it. Automatically it will go within 5 seconds. You are going to show that here. Okay, so we close this particular bracket, so we close it with a semicolon, so we close the line of code, and then we close this particular parameter or this particular subset code, and then we close the next function called send multiple rows email. So this function will go all along from here, and we also close the whole using a parenthesis, close parenthesis. So that's it. And so here we will see the two dialog box here. You have nothing to do here, so we already created a custom script here, right? So we'll just save this, and then we'll run it. Okay, so let's see how it works. So just go to custom menu, and just send email. Okay, and it's asking whether you need to send mails. I just send yes. Okay, success sending mail count 2, email sent successfully from user mbneed@gmail.com. Let's see what it comes on the email. So just okay, so the mail has come. Hi Suresh, how are you? Please note that your current due is rupees 50,000 and last payment is for this. So it is a dynamic mail because the content is dynamic. Reminder, Suresh last due date, and we have mentioned the dynamic content of 5th December. And just go back, you have seen the next message, that is to Sumesh, and the amount is different, the due date is different, the name here is changed, all these things, and here's a like that. So it's just a textual content here. We'll see how you can use the HTML content in a different video. So I think this is very clear in introduction to Google Appscript. There are a lot of things that you can do on Appscript, amazing things that can you use on Appscript, and use Google apps like connect apps like Calendar, PowerPoint, Google Sheets, and Gmails. There's a lot of beautiful things that you can do, and so hope you had a better insights of how to create Google Appscript and integrate with Google Sheets so that you can send bulk mails to your clients. So you can use it for personal purpose and your official purpose, and you can use your fantasy to do whatever you need to use various kind of combinations and alterations to just customize your dynamic emails. So if you like this presentation, this portal video, please like this video, and if you want any other friends of yours to actually were interested to create sheets like this, please share this video to them also. So I think we can wind it up. So have a good day and thank you for watching. All the best.